A deal is a legal agreement. So there are a number of steps to do that. The first step is to agree an outline of what you're buying and how the deal is going to work. And we call that heads of terms. So that's setting out an intent. How is a deal going to be structured? And it's just headline aspects of a deal. So it will be things like price, payment profile, future roles, the fee bank you're actually acquiring, the business you're acquiring, that sort of thing. So step one is to negotiate and get the heads of terms agreed. So you have an outline to work to. Once those outlines are agreed, you can avoid confusion down the line because you've got the basics set up. Once you've done that, the next stage is to move into a legal agreement. Now, the legal agreement will depend on what you're buying. Is it an asset? Is it a company? You need an agreement for both, but with a company it will be more complicated. That means employing lawyers. And I would urge anyone thinking of buying a business, whether it's an asset or a limited company, to employ lawyers. Yes, they can be expensive, but they provide an invaluable service, which is to protect you around an agreement. If things go wrong post completion of an agreement, which sadly they do on occasions because that's how things work, that agreement is there to protect you and to support you. If an agreement is not properly drawn up, it will not protect you in the right way. And sadly, I've seen examples of exactly that happening, of agreements not supporting either the buyer or the vendor post-transaction in a way they need, which leads to confusion and ultimately more cost. So invest in lawyers to make sure that they're supporting you around the agreement, but make sure you go to those lawyers with clarity around what you want. The clearer you are, the more detail you give lawyers, the lower your costs will be, because instead of producing multiple versions of an agreement, they're producing a single version which everyone can hopefully agree because you've done the groundwork already yourselves that's not on the clock as such. So process is negotiation, heads of terms, legal agreement, plus a level of due diligence. In other words, checking to make sure you're comfortable about what you're buying and you know exactly what's there. If it's a company, what the balance sheet is. If it's a feedback, what the client base is, what the services are. We can help with all of these things. Part of our role for incoming franchisees is to give advice and not necessarily do the work for them, but to point them in the right direction to make sure they're protecting themselves in the right way and they understand what they're buying and how it will work for them in the future.